Hi, my name is Rachel Rabo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to build Power Apps directly from a SharePoint list. Don't forget to like this video and hit on the subscribe button. We will start by creating a SharePoint list. So from my SharePoint site, I'm just going to click on New and then I'm going to click on List to be able to create my SharePoint list. And if you can notice, we have a blank list. We have from Excel where you can easily upload an Excel sheet, and we also have from an existing list. So I'm going to be creating the SharePoint list from a blank list. So I'll click on blank list and give that list a name. Then if you can notice, we have description. This is optional. So I'm just going to skip that and click on create. So if you can notice from this, you can see the different columns. So I'm going to add columns to this SharePoint. I'm going to add columns to this SharePoint list. Let me say, for instance, I want to take information. I want to take data from attendance. I want to take attendance data from a class. So I have to know about their name. I have to know about their gender. I have to know about their email address, and also I have to know about their phone numbers. So I'm just going to take those few information. So if you notice from these places, everything here you are seeing, they are all data types. So I'm going to be using a single line of text. So I'm going to give this name, and also I'm going to click on more options. And if you see, we have different types of, we have the single line of text, and we also have the multiple line of text. The maximum for the single line of text is 255 words. Then the multiple line of text, maybe if you want to tell a person to make a complaint, or you want somebody to explain, so the person has to write more than 255 words. So then you have to use a multiple line of text. But since I want to ask a person to give me their name, the information of their name, so single line of text works for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on require that this column contains information. So I'm going to click on save. And I'm also going to go ahead and click on the data type for choice. And this data type for choice, it allows me that, okay, you have the options. The person has an option to choose between either, the person has different options to choose. So going to be name, male, and female. Okay, we're going to work with this, and you can also click on more options. And next, we're going to click on require that this column contains information. Okay, if you also notice from this place, we have allow multiple selections. That's, you want the person to select more than one options. But for this case, we want the person to just select one option. So I'm just going to click on save. Then I'm going to go ahead, and from what I said from the beginning, I talked about collecting data for the person's phone number. So the data type I'm using here is going to be number. Then I'm going to go ahead and also change this number of decimal places to 0. And I'll click on more options and change it from use thousand separators. Like, I don't want it, I'm actually asking for a phone number. I'm not asking for a currency. I'm not asking to, I don't want comma in the number. I just want it to be plain. So I'm just going to go and click on required that this column contains information, and click on save. Then the last information I'm going to be taking is going to be email, which is single line of text. Email address. Then I'm going to click on more options and click on required, then click on save. Okay, if you can notice all of this, there's something here, this part of it, title. I don't want it to show. I don't want it to be a part of my data. So I'm just going to click on the icon for savings, for settings. Then I'm going to click on list settings, and I'm going to come down and click on title to remove it from being required. I'm going to change it to no, and I'm going to come down and just click on OK. So I'm just going to click on review video. And there's something you can also notice. If I want to hide this title, I don't want it to show at all, I can just click on title, click on column settings, and click on show or hide column. So I'm just going to click on this and click on apply. So you can see title is no longer showing here anymore. So the next thing now is for me to build my app. I want to build my Power Apps directly from SharePoint List. So I'm just going to click on integrate, and if you can see from integrate, we have Power Apps, we have Power Automate, and we also have Power BI. So I'm just going to click on Power Apps and go ahead and click on create an app. So I'm going to give that app a name. Then I'm just going to go ahead and click on create. So while it loads, it's going to load a TV screen view app, which is your detail screen, your browse screen, and also your edit screen. So while integrating your app from a SharePoint list, it helps you build your app. So you just have to, the only thing after building your app for you, the only thing you just have to do is to check if there is any information you want to add, or if there is any, you want to check if the app is functioning, very well. So that's what we are going to do next. Okay, now you can notice that if you can see my screen, you can notice that I actually have a TV screen view app, which is your browse screen, your detail screen. Okay, I'm just going to zoom that in. Okay, you can notice that I have TV screen view app, which is your browse screen, your detail screen, and also your edit screen. So your browse screen is like a list screen that shows you your data in your app. It shows you the data in your app. Maybe you want to collect the data, maybe you collected the data for reachable. So it's actually going to show on your browse screen. So for me to be able to check the information of reachable, to know more about reachable, I have to click on reachable from the browse screen, which is going to take me to the detail screen to be able to know more about reachable. And also the edit screen is to add data to the app. So I'm just going to go ahead to the edit screen and click on the detail form, then click on edit feeds. So I don't want title to show on my app, so I'm just going to click on remove. And there's one other thing you can notice too. If the arrangement of the data in your app, you do not like the way it is arranged, you can easily just change it. So I can just click on it and I can easily drag it, or I can click on at the three dots at the right and click on move up, and also I can also click on move down. So you can see now I have name, gender, phone number, and email address. So I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to go ahead with going to our detail screen. And you can also notice the same thing here. I'm going to click on edit form and click on edit fields. I'm going to do the same thing I did for detail screen, and I'm going to remove title and also remove attachments. So I'm going to close. So the next step for me to follow right now is for me to check if the app is functioning very well. So I'm just going to click on play. And if you can notice, after playing the app, it's not working. I actually clicked on, if you can notice very well, I clicked on this to be able to play my app. You can either click on this or you can click on F5. So after clicking on that, my app is not actually playing. So after clicking on that, my app is not actually playing. So what I should do next, what I can do next right now, okay, I'm just going to reduce my screen. Okay, so what I can do next right now is to just click on edit form and go ahead to default mode at the right side of my screen, go ahead to default mode and change it from edit to new. So I'm going to play the app again right now and see the difference. So you can see that right now, after changing the default mode from edit to new, my app is actually working. So I'm going to add data to this app and see how well it is functioning. So I'm just going to add any number here and add email address. Then I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click to submit the data. But if you can notice that after submitting that data, it does not take me to the next screen. So I want it that after submitting the data into the app, it will take me to another screen. So I'm just going to close this. After adding data to my app, I want to make it that my screen navigates from the edit screen to the browse screen. So for me to be able to do this, I have to click on the screen or click on the edit form. So I have to go to the unsourced property and change this back function to the navigate function. Then I'm going to name it. The next thing is to bring out the name of the screen, which is browse screen 1. And the reason for this is because the name of the screen is browse screen 1. I'm going to put a comma there and screen transition dot fade. Then I'm going to close that bracket. So I'm going to play the app and we're going to see what happens. So you can see your data has been added to your app. You can see it's reachable. And if I also go to the SharePoint list, you can already see the data showing here. So I'm going to go back to Powerapps and also check on to see how the edit screen is functioning. So me coming back to the edit screen, the data I just added is still showing here. So for me to be able to do this, that after entering data, the data does not show anymore, except if I go to browse screen or I go to detail screen to be able to know more about the data. So I'm just going to reset. I'm going to reset this form from the unsourced property by writing on reset form, open brackets. The name of this form is edit form 1. So I'm just going to name it edit form 1. Then close the bracket and semicolon. So what I'm actually what this formula is explaining right now is telling that, okay, once I enter data into this app, reset the form and navigate from edit screen to the browse screen. So I'm going to try that again and see what happens. And I'm going to close it and come back to this place. So you can see it's no longer showing anything here anymore. So this screen is perfect. Okay. I'm going to play the app. We're going to see how it functions. Okay, there's also one thing I want to change here, is that I want to work on the right. If you can see the boxes here, you can see that when I click on them, they are all showing blue. I just want to make changes to them. So for me to be able to make changes to them, that like when I click on it, I want it to show white. So I can just go to, after clicking on the box here, the box for name, I can go to the overview property, click on the overview property and change this to white, which is 255 RGBA 255 brackets 255, another 255 again, then 1. That is white. So I'm going to play the app and I'm going to see what happens. You see, there's actually a difference between the two of them. There's actually a difference between the two of them. Another option you can also use too is to just go for transparent. I'm just going to change this to 0, change this to 0, and also change this to 0 and the 1 to 0. So I'm going to play the app. And you can also see the difference. You can see, and with this I've not changed, you can also see the difference for that. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Just going to change. Okay. So I'm going to the overview Just going to use white. 255. 255. Then next one, 255 and 1. Okay. I think that's perfect. So I'm going to add more data into this app. Okay. I can still change it for gender too. So I'm just going to add any phone number. Okay, at gmail.com and save the data. So you can see, you can actually see all the data I'm adding it to the app from your browse screen. So you can make a lot of changes on your app depending on the way you want your app to look like. Yeah, working on the edit screen. The next thing I'm going to work on is to work on the browse screen. And the reason is this, is that if you can notice from this screen, you can notice just the name and the gender. But when I click on the screen, which is your browse gallery one, when I click on this screen, it's actually showing me from the right hand side, it's actually showing me a layout of title, subtitle, and body. So it's actually supposed to show me like 3 informations about that person. So I'm going to resolve that issue. I have to click on fields, that is the edits. And so if you can notice, the body is for gender, the subtitle is for name, and also the title is for title. So I'm just going to change that to name. It's still not working, but that's okay. I'm just going to remove this and leave it at name. So you can see it's actually showing Rachel. Then I'm going to change the subtitle. I'm going to change it to gender. I'm going to change it to gender. Then the body one, I'm going to just change it to phone number or email address. I'm just going to go for email address. Okay, so you can notice the difference now. You can see Rachel Rabo, my gender, and also my email address. You can notice that you can add more information by just clicking on add and add your details into your app. So that is how to create a Canvas Power Apps from a SharePoint list. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. Thank you.